Hey everybody, Rich here, South Florida Beekeeping with Rich. It's New Year's Day, January 1st, 2025. The temperature at the moment is 74 degrees. Yesterday when I was working the bees, the temperature was 81.
And it's a beautiful day in the neighborhood.
Yeah, it is now. It wasn't earlier this morning, but the sun has broken through and everything's warming up. It'll probably get good and warm today. Uh, but here we are. This is the difference between beekeeping in South Florida and beekeeping in the rest of the country. This is go day. On your mark, get set. The starting pistol is shot. Boom, get moving. Uh, the bees, it's long enough out after the winter solstice. The bees are noticing the difference. They're beginning to build up. There's pollen coming in from all over. I went through most of the hives yesterday and I did not, unlike last year, I did not find any drone brood. However, I found a number of queen cups in this one, and it looks like a nice shiny new queen from her slimness. So, yeah, we could have swarming within 3 weeks quite easily if somebody who has not paid attention to their hives. This is also the time of year we are right at the lowest ebb, and it's quite likely that you're going to get wax moth damage if you've left comb on. So you need to get out there and check for that. For all you new beekeepers who are just starting, if you haven't already gotten your equipment built, you need to get your equipment built now because you're going to need it in a few weeks and it needs some time to gas off. You know, pine lumber is a very strong smelling product and the bees don't like it at first. It needs a little time to air out. If you have a beekeeper friend who's been able to give you some propolis and you dissolved that in alcohol and painted the inside of the hives, that reduces that. It gives them a good start on the coat of propolis for their hive envelope, and it reduces the amount of uh, odor that they have to deal with because sometimes bees just don't like new equipment at all. They want it to have some time to air out. So get your equipment built, get your frames built. If you can, treat them with a little propolis tincture on the inside so that it gets moving. Before long, I mean, you get your swarm traps ready. Okay, you got a few weeks. Get your boxes ready first. But in the next 3 weeks or so, if you get your swarm traps ready, whatever kind of swarm trap you're going to use, get them ready, get them out there because you'd be surprised by the February 15th. There'll be swarms everywhere to be caught out here. By March 15th, it'll be a super highway of bees floating through the air out here looking for a new place to land. This is South Florida. This is the beginning of the season, not later. Check your hives right now. When we go into this hive, I'm going to be looking to see. There's been so much pollen coming in this one. I've got extra frames on hand because I might need to split the brood nest in this one already. That's what I was checking everything for yesterday, was to see how many frames of brood I had in all the colonies. If I had too many, there was either going to be equalization going on or there was going to have to be a splitting of the brood nest. That is, putting an empty frame in the middle of the clusters.
Let's get to it.
Let's get to it. Yeah, everybody else has got spare time. We don't at this point in time.
Looking for hive beetles?
Yeah, these would be hive beetle corrals, but there's no hive beetles in them. So, for those who don't know what we mean when we say corrals, And I was looking online recently and noticed that there were some people that were questioning that. Like, this is a corral. Okay, if you have something flat across here, the bees will build this and they'll push all the beetles up into here. Same thing was happening over here. But this is just a really good example of it right there.
Yeah, it is. They built a little wall of propolis.
They built a wall of propolis. They left one little entrance, and then they just kept them there. This was your entrance, and they just kept them in there.
Huh.
But they're gone now, so that's good. All right. So, as I mentioned not too long ago, it seemed as though these bees, even though their entrance was in the middle, that they were deciding that they wanted to be down to this end. Interesting thing, I was just looking at a manual from South Africa the other day, and that manual was talking about their new modification for their frame type long hives, and they had been using either entrances here or entrances here. And this manual was talking about how the new modification was to put the entrance in the middle.
Hmm.
Everything old is new again, because I'm copying something that was being done in the 1800s by putting it there. And as I've commented before, the bees don't seem all that interested in it.
It's interesting because some colonies do like the entrance on the end, and some colonies like the entrance in the middle. And you really can't tell by looking at them which way they're going to go.
Well, they'll adapt to whatever you give them. Okay, I'm sure that there is nothing
Wow,
left in
nothing.
there.
This is empty.
Yeah, this isn't of any use anymore. It's off to the side for the time being. Wow.
Yep, the propolising the sides of those frames now.
Yeah, well, it was winter, so I guess
What passes for winter?
what passes for winter. So I guess their instinct. It's mostly just a matter that I'm not. Some of my frames are a little wider than others. Okay, so
I see comb.
first frame of comb. I see a small hive
Would you
beetle.
pull that one out so we can see it?
Oh, this one?
Yeah, it looks pretty good.
Yeah, it's good. There's no indication of
So we
wax
got
moth on it.
so we got drone comb on the bottom.
It was,
Yeah.
but that was, last year's drone comb. I was more interested in the next one, hoping it might have something going on, but it doesn't.
Nope.
The nice thing is there's no wax moth on it or anything.
A lot of propolis on the top of that.
Yeah. There's a beetle there. Let's see if I can knock him off and smash him. Yeah. Now, last inspection, these, which was like 3 weeks or more ago, these were still active combs. The hive has shrunk considerably, which is what I found yesterday working through them. And this could easily have been a problem. You see these little webbings, right? Oh no, that good. That was a honey cell. Sometimes those little cells are a little webbing on the front for small hive beetles. Well, it's looking like I don't have to worry.
Doesn't look like they're going to need new extra frames.
Not at this point. That was,
You're what, 5 frames in, and we haven't hit the brood nest yet?
well, we're at the midpoint. How many frames in is it really? This is the beginning of the midpoint.
Right.
And this is where we would want the brood nest to be.
And this is where their entrance is too.
which is usually the brood nest is around the entrance, so it can have the most weather control, the most air regulation. So
You might be getting into the brood nest. I'm hearing the buzz change tone a little bit. I see nectar.
Oh, there's plenty of nectar. Well, what do you expect between the fact that things are blooming now? The false buttonweed is in full bloom. Oh my,
Yeah.
Ladies, calm down.
You're getting into the nest, and they're getting pretty unhappy. I was just thinking how nice and calm they were, but they are not nice and calm now.
Well, I'm threatening their honey supply, I guess.
They don't seem to have much of one.
Oh, you're gonna change your mind on that.
Yep. Well, I see a little bit.
Well, the next frame that you can't see from your angle is definitely
lots of nectar.
Yeah.
They're just packing it away.
Yep. Watch this one.
Yeah, honey on top, nectar on the bottom. Yeah. Well, this is the cooler weather they've been waiting for to fan all that nectar into less than 17% water so they can cap it off.
Yeah. There is so much
nectar
in here.
Yeah, but I don't see brood.
Well, they could be down to none or next to none. I was hoping they were starting more. We still have quite a number of frames to go there.
Oh, that's true. Sometimes you come from this other end, and
Okay, good. I've got dry comb over here that's being prepped for brood. And bees with pollen on them are hanging out in this area.
I see bees with pollen.
Yeah, the next frame has brood on it. I'll stop after I pull this one up, and you will rebuild it. Do you have brood on your side?
A little tiny bit, yeah.
Well, I got a lot
more patch. Yeah, you got a patch over here.
Yep. Okay. More brood there.
Are you not going any further then?
I'm not going to go any further. I don't want to disrupt them too much, but what I am going to do.
So you don't need to split the brood chamber.
If they were, I'll look over here. I'm going to assume, in the absence of.
And no small hive beetles in the dryer sheets either.
Nope. I don't know if I have enough room for this, but we'll give it a shot. Hopefully there's no brood on this end frame. There's just honey. Yep. Ouch.
Yeah, they're
Honey
getting.
and pissed off bees.
Yep.
You better step back.
Yep. That's all right. They're buzzing around me, but nobody's taking that much notice.
Well, they're noticing me. They didn't
Yeah.
like that.
No.
They didn't like that.
Well, it looked like the honey frame was attached at some point to something, maybe the side, and they.
Oh, well, that could happen.
It looked like it pulled off some of the, uncapped some of it when you pulled it up.
Oh, yeah, but that was just on the end because it's so close.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Boy. No. Well, I am still going to move one of these frames from down here at this other end and drop it into here and ahead of where all of the honey is, the beginning of the brood nest.
Yeah.
We'll put it at the end of the brood nest.
Give them stuff to work on.
So that they have some dry comb there to help with their expansion. I might have to go put on a jacket. They are not respecting the vinegar here.
Maybe you need a little more.
I'm gonna put a little more vinegar on.
You left it over there on top of that super. Was that the dry one?
Nope, this still has nectar.
I was going to say, I see a lot of nectar on this side.
Yeah. All right, so I'm gonna. This is all brood size comb on the frame that I took out to help to keep the wax moths from getting it. So we'll just drop that in there so they have something to expand into without feeling constricted. Because that's the whole thing. The most underrated bee in the world is the bookkeeper bee, the one who sits there and decides that there's not enough room and that they need to split and that they have the resources to do it. But if you put some nice dry comb in the middle of a brood nest, which is what we normally just call dividing the brood nest, remember the rule. If you're going to put an empty frame in a brood nest, it has to be 2 frames of brood on one side, 2 frames of brood on the other side. If you, or more, of course, you could have 3 frames and 3 frames, but never put 2 frames of brood, an empty frame, and 1 frame of brood. Don't. Leave it at 3 if you're going to do that.
Or empty frames on the other side, like you have.
Or an empty frame somewhere else. It's just, when you have 5 frames of brood, like you do this time of year, most of the time, you wouldn't want to put more than 1 empty frame in the middle. 2 and 3, 3 and 2, makes no difference, but that's the most that you would do.
And you can put an empty frame on the end.
The thing is that with 5 frames of brood, you don't need to split the brood nest yet. It's too soon. Ladies, come on. But when you get up around 8 frames of brood, yeah, you need to be splitting the brood nest because they could just decide that that brood nest is so big that they need to go ahead and leave. Give them some empty space in the middle. Give them something to work on. You don't want underemployed nurse bees that are just hanging out bored. You want to be sure you give them something to do, like make some new comb.
Now you've got another frame of comb over there that you had
I'm
brought
not putting
out.
that in. That's gonna. I'm not. In fact, I'm going to just go ahead and take these couple of ones because the next couple of weeks is going to be the worst time for wax moths. So
So you're giving them more space in the brood nest, but you're taking away some of the space on the end.
yep,
Okay.
yep. You got a little more space at the brood nest right here. You've got all this honey here. I still have left them plenty of frames in here to build back out for some more honey. And of course, they're going to have empty frames that when we really get into the flow, they can. They will be able. They'll just hopefully take the time to fill them in without leaving for parts unknown.
So where's the follower board going to go?
Well, I was being quick and lazy, so the follower board for this end is what I used to build this frame out of.
Oh,
So,
so you're going to just leave it in there?
yeah,
It's
just
not a small hive beetle attraction, is it?
I can't imagine it would be really, unless I put those pieces together pretty tight. If I'd left a lot of room between them, then maybe.
Well, I had to ask.
But this wasn't so much a Poppleton hive inspection as it just was a hive inspection. This time of year, you need to go through everything, a deep dive on it, be checking for wax moths, and
So you don't really have to check for queen cups at this point, do you?
well, that hive has queen cups in it.
Huh.
Uh, and in fact, it has some slightly drawn out queen. They're drawn out to a certain extent. They're not just the really short, little stubby ones. They've got some length to them. There's nothing in them yet. So that's it for this part. We got several other things to show you, but we'll do that in the next video. So this has been Rich, South Florida Beekeeping with Rich. It's January 1st. The temperature is 74 degrees. It's sunny skies. It's supposed to get cold this weekend, so don't be too quick to take your sliding boards out of your screen bottoms just yet. Have a great New Year, everybody.